someone shoved my head hard into the pool. Leah, still refusing to hand it over? Ivy said the moonstone necklace doesn't belong to you. The hand pinning me down pressed even harder. Someone bent close to the water. Stop pretending to be dead. Trash like you can't even shift into a wolf. What makes you think you deserve to be Blackthorn's heir? My forehead slammed against the pool wall, pain bursting through my skull, but I smiled. Because they had grabbed the wrong person. The next second, I seized the hand holding me down. The girl on the edge had not even reacted before I yanked half her body into the water. She screamed. Using the force, I flipped over, drove my knee hard against the pool wall, surged out of the water, clamped a hand around the back of her neck, and shoved her face down into the pool. Water exploded everywhere. The laughter from moments ago cut off instantly.
Tessa!
Someone rushed toward me. I lifted my head. Wet hair clung to my face, and my voice was hoarse, like I had just crawled out of hell.
One step closer, and I'll make her drink this pool dry.
Everyone froze. I lowered my head and hauled Tessa out of the water. She choked until her face turned purple. Tears and pool water smeared all over her face. None of her arrogance remained. I asked,
"Who told you to touch her?"
I was only listening to Ivy.
I pushed her back underwater. 3 seconds. 5 seconds. She struggled harder and harder, her nails tearing open the back of my hand. I pulled her up.
Say it again!
Tessa cried out.
It was Ivy. Ivy told me to force Leah to hand over the moonstone necklace. She said that once she had the necklace, she would be the true alpha heir of the Blackthorn pack.
The poolside fell into dead silence. I slowly straightened. The silver suppression collar around my neck was still burning my skin, and this body was so weak I could barely stand. But that did not matter. I did not need to be at full strength to deal with things like them. A boy held up his phone and stammered.
Leah, have you lost your mind? This is the academy pool. You'll be punished. You'll be punished for attacking someone.
I looked at him. He immediately shut up. I dragged Tessa onto the deck and threw her onto the tiles. When she tried to crawl away, I stepped on her wrist. When you were holding me down, why didn't you mention punishment? No one answered. I bent down and tore the silver chain from Tessa's wrist. The silver burned into my palm, the pain drilling deep, but I looped the chain around her throat and tightened it gently. Tessa shook all over.
Leah, please.
Don't call me by the wrong name. She froze. I leaned close to her ear, my voice very soft. Leah would never do this to you. Tessa's pupils slowly widened. I smiled, but I will. Somewhere behind the crowd, someone suddenly sucked in a cold breath.
She's not Leah. Then who is she?
I looked up and saw Claire, the student affairs director, standing at the pool entrance. 5 years ago, she was the one who handed my mother the silver moon potion. When she saw my eyes, her face turned deathly pale.
Vera?
The moment that name left her mouth, everyone around us froze. I released Tessa and walked toward Claire. Water dripped from the hem of the school uniform skirt, winding across the floor behind me. Claire retreated step by step.
Impossible. You were sealed.
Yes. I lifted a hand and touched the silver collar at my neck. I would also like to know why I woke up when my sister was about to be drowned. Claire's lips went white.
Calm down. Leah needs this body.
I stopped.
Where is she?
Claire did not dare look at me. I asked again.
Where is my sister?
No one spoke. Only the sound of water remained in the pool. At last I understood. I called for Leah inside my heart. There was no response. Inside this body, it was as quiet as an empty grave. I turned and looked at everyone. My voice not loud, but clear enough for all of them to hear. Go tell Ivy, and tell those dear parents of mine too. The monster they sealed away 5 years ago has awokened. No one dared laugh again as I dragged Tensha past the edge of the pool. Tessa rasped.
You'll be expelled for this. Silverhill Academy doesn't allow private fights.
I stopped and looked back at her. Then what were you doing just now? A club activity? Her face went white. I shoved her toward the locker room door. Keep talking. Where does Ivy live?
The top floor suite in the east building.
That is Leah's room. Tessa did not dare answer. My voice turned cold. I said, that is Leah's room. She burst into tears.
Ivy moved in there. Luna said Leah was mentally unstable and needed somewhere quiet, so they moved her to the temporary dorm behind the old gym. No one lives there. It's very safe.
Safe. driving the 𝒐𝒍 into an abandoned dorm, holding her under the pool and calling it safe? I asked again.
What about Leah's people? Nora, Zoe, Marcus, the people I left behind.
Tessa looked at me as if I were insane. Those people left long ago. Zoe is dead, Nora works odd jobs in the infirmary, and Marcus was kicked out of the academy. Everyone says Leah drove them away herself. Something slammed into my chest. Zoe was dead, the girl who always mistook Leah and me for each other, yet stubbornly claimed, I am simply respecting the differences between two personalities, was dead. I shoved Tia against the wall.
How did she die? I don't know!
Then think. Tessa's voice shook. I only heard she fell from the old stands. Ivy said Zoe had stolen something, and when she was caught, she ran too fast. With every word she said, the light in front of me grew colder. I had no time to grieve. Leah was not answering. Zoe was dead. Ivy's had moved into Leah's room. Caden had betrayed her. And our parents had broken their promise. Every single thing told me I had woken up too late. The locker room door was suddenly pushed open. A middle-aged woman rushed in with 2 campus security guards. She wore 𝒐𝒍𝒔 Academy's administrative uniform, and her name tag read, Claire Dawson, Student Affairs Director. The first thing she shouted was,
Leah, let 𝒐𝒍𝒆 go. Go to the infirmary for an examination immediately.
When she clearly saw my eyes, her voice jammed in her throat. 5 years ago, she had not yet been a director. She was merely my mother's personal assistant. On the night of the sealing ritual, she was the one who handed over the silver moon potion. Claire backed up half a step.
Impossible.
Mrs. Dawson, long time no see. You've been promoted.
Vera?
What, Vera? Isn't she Leah? Shut up!
I lifted my hand and took the walkie-talkie from Claire's waist. Why so nervous? Didn't you say I was dead? Claire forced herself to stay calm. You are unstable right now. You need a sedative. Your sister needs this body. The moment I heard the word sister, my patience snapped. I grabbed her uniform collar and slammed her against the lockers. You think you have the right to mention her? When the guards tried to step forward, I pressed the public broadcast button on the walkie-talkie. Static crackled through the entire pool area. Everyone listen. Leah Blackwood, heir of the Blackthorn Pack, was surrounded and bullied at the Silver Lake Academy pool today. The participants are already under my control.
Next person who wants to stand up for Ivy had better bring a will.
Claire's pupils shrank violently.
You're insane. This will reach the principal's office.
Perfect. I shoved the walkie-talkie back into her hand. Notifies my mother. I leaned close, my voice very soft. Tell her that the thing she buried with her own hands has awakened. Wearing a varsity jacket I had taken from a locker, I walked toward the top floor of the East Building. The back of the jacket bore the Silver Lake Wolves logo, and the cuffs were still wet with pool water. As I passed through the corridor, students pressed them against the walls to make way. No one dared stop me. Fear traveled faster than a broadcast. The nameplate on the top floor of the East Building had already been changed. Ivy Stone, Alpha Hair Candidate. I looked at those words, lifted my foot, and kicked the door open. A small party was going on inside. Champagne, music, and blood moon ball invitations were spread across the table. Ivy sat in the window chair wearing Leah's black leather jacket and the silver moon pendant I had given Leah around her neck. It was not the moonstone necklace, but it was still mine. Sitting beside her was Caden Holt. I had not seen him for 5 years. The little boy who had cried on that full moon night had grown into the new heir of the North Ridge Pack. His shoulders were broader, and his eyes had turned cold. His taste in people, however, was shockingly bad. Ivy stood first. The panic on her face lasted only a second before it quickly became wounded innocence.
Leah, how could you barge in like this? Tessa said you hurt her badly. I thought it had to be a misunderstanding.
I walked up to her and held out my hand. Take them off.
What?
The jacket, the necklace, the room key, Leah's student card. Return every single one. Caden frowned and rose.
Enough, Leah. Ivy has been speaking up for you all this time. Stop treating everyone's kindness as humiliation.
I looked at him. And who are you? His face darkened.
You know who I am.
Of course I do. You are Caden, the boy who almost bit through his own wrist on his first full moon and only survived because Leah held you all night. The room went quiet. Caden's expression changed. I went on. You are also the Caden who wrote 3 mate vows and said he was willing to give half of North Ridge's territory to Leah as security.
Stop, Leah. You know Caden chooses me now.
I turned to her. His choosing you proves he is blind. Your wearing Leah's clothes proves your hands are dirty. Tears fell from Ivy's eyes as she turned and threw herself into Caden's arms.
I truly didn't know this jacket mattered so much to her. Aunt Marina gave it to me. She said Leah didn't need these things anymore.
Caden shielded her behind him.
Leah, apologize.
I almost laughed out loud. To whom?
To Ivy. And after today, I will formally dissolve our mate bond. In your current state, you are not suited for any pack alliance.
I walked to the table and picked up a blood moon ball invitation. Inviter, Caden Holt. Partner, Ivy Stone. I tore the invitation in half. Caden lunged forward and grabbed my wrist. I did not dodge. I let his hand clamp down on my wound. Pain stabbed up, and I twisted his thumb back, pinning his entire arm to the table. Wine glasses shattered across the floor. Caden grunt. I bent over and looked at him. You are touching Leah's injured hand. Next time, I will make you sign the dissolution with the other hand. Ivy finally could not keep pretending. What exactly do you want? I want you to spit out everything you stole. Then you'd better be alive to take it. The moment those words came out, Caden snapped his eyes toward her. I slowly raised my gaze. Say that again. Ivy's face went pale.
I mean, if you keep making trouble, you'll destroy yourself.
I advanced on her. You just said I'd better be alive to take it. Ivy took a step back. I reached out and yanked the necklace from her throat. The silver moon pendant snapped free.
How did you know Leah nearly died today?
Ivy's lips trembled. Hurry Jupstim suddenly sounded outside the door. A cool female voice rang out because the pool surveillance footage was deleted 10 minutes ago. I looked back. Nora Reed stood in the doorway, the white coat of an infirmary assistant smelling faintly of medicine. When she saw me, her eyes reddened for an instant, but she did not cry. She only said, Vera, I found Zoe's recording. Nora brought me to the temporary dorm behind the old gym. It was called a dorm, but it was really a converted storage room. Old ball nets were piled in the corner. Wind leaked through the window, and the mattress was so thin you could feel the iron frame beneath it. Leah had been living here. I stood at the doorway and could not step inside for a moment. Nora said quietly, She wouldn't let me contact the people you left behind. She said anyone who came near her would get hurt. I asked, What about Zoe? Nora was silent for a few seconds, then handed me an old phone. The screen was cracked. After it powered on, only a few recordings remained. I tapped the first one. Zoe's voice came through, pressed very low.
Leah, Ivy wasn't brought back because she saved Luna.
Marina personally found her. They are copying your class schedule, your signature, your medical records. They want Ivy to replace you.
In the second recording, Zoe was running. The wind was loud, and she was gasping hard. Nora, if I don't come back, tell Vera that Leah never betrayed her. She has been protecting that secret all along. She thinks Vera was sealed because she herself was too weak. The third recording lasted only a dozen seconds. Zoe said,
Don't touch Leah!
Then came arguing, the sound of impact, and the recording ended. I stared at the phone. Nora said, The official read says it was an accidental fall. Ivy testified that Zoe had stolen her ball brooch and panicked when she was caught. Do you believe that? I believe evidence. Nora placed a USB drive in my palm. I found the access records from the old stands that night. Before Zoe went in, Marina's private car was parked outside. Both she and Ivy were there. I clenched the USB drive. The wound on my palm split open under the pressure, the pain sharp and clear. At last, I spoke. How many of the people I left behind are still here? More than you think. When Leah drove them away, she used your old code. They knew it was not a real exile. It was to keep them alive. It felt as if something had yanked hard at my chest. Leah was not weak. Without me, she had used the only method she could think of to push my people off the death list. She stayed behind alone, had her room stolen, her identity stolen, her mate stolen, and was held under the water. Contact them. Which code? Black moon returns to the nest. Nora's breath trembled. That was the command I had used at 12 years old when I built my private guard network. Only Leah, I, and a dozen utterly loyal people knew it. She immediately took out her phone. I looked around the shabby room and saw Leah's notebook on the desk. On the first page it said, "If my sister ever comes back, please don't let her know I cried." I tore out that page, folded it carefully, and tucked it inside my jacket against my chest. The sound of high heels came from outside the door. Unhurrying, steady, and carrying a familiar pressure. Marina Blackwood, my mother and Luna of the 𝑵𝒂𝒄 pack stood in the doorway. Behind her was the Academy discipline team, each of them holding a silver restraint ring. She looked at me. There was no joy of a mother seeing her daughter on her face, only fear that her control had failed.
Leah, you need to go to the infirmary.
Wrong person. Marina's face went white. I walked toward her. Mother, you should call me Vera.
When the discipline team raised the silver rings, Marina was still maintaining her composure. She said, "Everyone saw it. Leah attacked a classmate today, broke into a private room, and hurt Caden. She has serious mental problems right now."
I asked her.
You're not going to mention what happened in the pool?
Marina looked toward Claire. Claire immediately said, "The pool surveillance system is damaged. There is currently no evidence." I nodded.
How convenient.
Marina softened her voice. "Leah, give me the necklace. I will help you handle all of this."
You want the moonstone necklace?
It is the sacred relic of the Blackthorn pack. It should not be held by an unstable child.
I smiled.
5 years ago, when you sealed me away, you also said I was a child.
Her eyes trembled.
You are not Vera. Vera was permanently suppressed by the Silver Moon ritual.
Behind me, Nora opened her laptop. The next second, the old projector on the dorm wall lit up, and Zoe's recording was sent onto the Academy public channel. Zoe's voice spread through the old gym, the corridors, the cafeteria, and the training field.
Ivy wasn't brought back because she saved Luna. Marina personally found her.
The discipline team visibly wavered. The gentleness on Marina's face finally cracked.
Turn it off!
Nora did not move.
Marina lifted her hand, and a silver ring whipped toward me. The ring locked around my left wrist, burning my skin until smoke rose. This body instinctively trembled, but I did not step back. I rushed forward along the silver chain, snatched the controller from Marina's hand, and smashed it on the floor.
Every time you hurt her,
I stared at her.
she never fought back, did she?
Marina's voice tightened.
I was protecting this family.
Protecting whom? Ivy? Caden? Or your pathetic Luna dignity?
Ivy stepped out from behind the crowd, her eyes red at just the right moment.
Aunt Marina, I didn't know things would become like this. I only wanted to help you calm Leah down.
I looked at her. Of course you didn't know. How would a knife know whom the hand holding it intends to cut?
What do you mean?
Ivy, shut up!
But it was already too late. I raised my hand and had Nora play the second surveillance backup. The image was blurry, but it was clear enough to show Ivy handing Tessie a silver collar by the pool.
That isn't me! The image isn't clear!
I walked up to her. Then do you dare wear the truth silver ring? And say this has nothing to do with you? Werewolves were sensitive to silver, and a truth silver ring would only tighten when its wearer lied. Ivy glanced at the ring and did not dare reach for it. The crowd erupted. Marina suddenly sneered.
Vera, do you think dragging me down will wash you clean? The second authorization to seal you is not with me.
My chest sank. She looked at me, as if she had finally recovered a little chance of winning.
Your father signed it. Grant Blackwood signed it himself.
An encrypted file appeared on Nora's laptop screen. Silver Moon Seal Secondary Activation Request. Target Vera Blackwood. Authorizer Grant Blackwood. Execution time Blood Moon Night. In other words, tonight. I looked at that file and suddenly understood. The pool had been an accident. Ivy had forced Leah to hand over the Moonstone necklace not for the necklace itself, but to activate the second sealing. The Moonstone recognized the air, and it recognized the soul. Once they had it, they could shove me back into darkness. They might even destroy Leah along with me.
If you stop now, there is still time. I can let Leah continue living.
Marina saw that I was silent and thought I was afraid. I raised my eyes. In what capacity are you saying that? Mother or murderer? Ivy suddenly grabbed Marina's hand.
Auntie, you said you wouldn't make me take responsibility.
Marina shook her off.
I said that as long as you obeyed, you would get everything you wanted.
I did obey!
Ivy's voice sharpened.
You told me to get close to Caden. You told me to move into Leah's room. You said Zoe had to disappear, or she would make this too big!
The corridor exploded into chaos. Marina lost control of her expression for the first time. She raised a hand to strike Ivy, but I caught her wrist first. I said to Ivy, "Continue." When Ivy saw the killing inst in Marina's eyes, she finally realized she was only a pawn. She retreated behind me as if grabbing the last rope.
I have chat records, I have recordings. Marina said that as long as I forced Leah to collapse, the Blackthorn Pad recognized me as its new daughter.
You ungrateful stray wolf.
Marina gritted his teeth. Ivy laughed through her tears.
Stray wolf? That isn't what you called me when you brought me back from the Rogue Pack. You said I was the moon goddess, giving you a second chance. You said Leah was too weak, Vera was too dangerous, and only I was the most obedient.
I watched them tear away each other's skin. There was not the slightest satisfaction in it. Because Leah was not here. Zoa was not here. All those years, everyone had been lying, and only the wounded had stayed silent. I picked up the truth silver ring and tossed it at Ivy's feet. Put it on. Ivy stepped back.
I've already told you.
Put it on, I repeated. Tell the truth, and I'll let you walk into tonight's hearing alive. Refuse, and I'll hand you over right now to Tessa and everyone else you used. Ivy's face turned ashen. At last, trembling, she put on the silver ring. I asked,
Who told Tessa to hold Leah under the pool?
Me.
The silver ring did not tighten. I asked, Who told you to do it? Ivy looked toward Marina. Marina stared hard at her. The silver ring suddenly tightened, and Ivy screamed in pain, forced to shout.
Marina!
I continued. How did Zoe die? Ivy's lips trembled.
Marina told me to lure her to the old stands. She said she only wanted to scare her. Later I heard a noise and ran. The next day, Zoe was dead.
Marina said coldly,
You have no evidence proving I did it.
There will be evidence, I said, looking at her. But tonight, I don't need it. She frowned.
What do you mean?
I picked up Nora's phone. The screen displayed, Black Moon returns to the nest. Responses, 47. The old guard had returned. I said to @Marina, the Blood Moon hearing is being moved up. Location, the Academy Auditorium. Audience, all students, teachers, and PAC representatives. Ivy asked shakily.
What about me?
I turned to her. You will sit in the front row and return everything you stole to Leah, one piece at a time. Caden stopped me at the auditorium entrance. He had changed into a formal suit, with the Northridge PAC badge pinned to his chest. He looked as if he had come to negotiate, not to apologize. 2 lawyers and a Northridge elder followed behind him. How fast. Once the news spread, everyone knew Blackthorn was about to change. Caden had come in such a hurry not for Leah, but to sever ties. He said,
Vera, we need to talk privately.
I did not stop walking. He reached out to block me. You don't deserve that.
I admit I handled things badly today, but I didn't know the pool incident would become like that. Ivy told me Leah was just being emotional.
I looked at him. So you believed her?
I thought she needed space.
When she was driven to the abandoned dorm, you gave her space? When the whole school mocked her, you gave her space? When she was held under the pool, you also gave her space? Caden's face turned ugly.
I didn't see it with my own eyes.
I stopped. Did Leah ever beg you? He was silent. I knew it. She had. That foolish girl was afraid of troubling others even when she was hurt. If she had truly opened her mouth to Caden, it meant she had already run out of paths. Caden's voice lowered.
She came to me once. She said Ivy took her student card and medicine. I thought it was just conflict between girls.
I raised my hand and slapped him. The entire corridor went silent.
Vera.
Caden turned his face aside, anger instantly surging up. I backhanded him again. The first one was for Leah. I stared at him. The second was for the girl who held you through that full moon night and never slept. A Northridge elder stepped forward.
Miss Blackwood, please mind your status.
I looked at him. My status? Blackthorn heir, family member of a Silvervade Academy victim, and witness to Caden Holt's former mate contract. Is that enough? The lawyer handed over documents.
The Holt family is willing to dissolve the contract and provide compensation.
I took the papers. The compensation list was long. Money, land, cooperation rights. It was written in a dignified, calm way. I flipped to the end and saw one sentence. Both 𝒐𝒖𝒏𝒍𝒆 waiver of all claims. I smiled, tore the papers to pieces, and threw them at Caden's feet. You think this is a business dispute? Caden lowered his voice.
What do you want?
I want you to publicly admit that Leah never pestered you, never envied Ivy, and never lost control of her mind. You betrayed her. When she asked for help, you chose her abuser. Caden's face turned livid.
That would destroy Northridge's reputation.
You just asked me what I wanted. I stepped closer.
This is what I want.
He suddenly released his alpha pressure. The lower-ranked werewolves in the corridor retreated one after another. I stood where I was and did not move.
5 years ago, I could make Blackthorn's senior rounts bow their heads. 5 years later, the pressure of one Northridge heir was in my eyes, no more than the bark of an unformed wolf cub. I raised my eyes and released my own wolf nature. Caden's face went instantly pale, and his knees bent beyond his control. He forced himself not to kneel, but his instincts pressed him down until the side of his neck was exposed.
Don't lower your head to me, I said. Lower it to Leah.
The auditorium doors were open. The room inside was packed with people. Every camera was pointed here. At last, Caden spoke, his voice raspy.
Leah Blackwood did not pester me. I violated our mate vow. I failed to protect her.
I looked at him, and
he closed his eyes.
I chose Ivy.
I stepped aside.
Good. Go in and sit in the front row. Not one of you gets to leave early tonight. By the time Grant Blackbird arrived at the auditorium, the blood moon had already risen behind the Academy clock tower. His first sentence after entering was,
Marina, did you get the moonstone?
The auditorium was so quiet that even breathing could be heard. I sat in the chief hearing seat. Behind me stood Nora, Marcus, and 47 members of the old Black Moon Guard. Marina sat bound by silver rings on the left. Ivy sat beside her, her face bloodless. Caden and the Northridge people sat in the first row like prisoners waiting for judgment. Grant finally saw me. In that instant, his face seemed to age 10 years.
Vera.
Father.
I raised a hand to signal that the doors should be closed. He quickly regained his composure. Long time no see.
You've made too much trouble.
Leah nearly died. This is not too much, I said. He swept his gaze across the auditorium, judged the situation, and lowered his tone.
This is a Blackthorn family matter. Outsiders should not be watching.
Did you also think it was a family matter when you second sealing authorization? He looked at Marina, his eyes like knives. Marina glared back at, Don't pretend. Without your signature, I couldn't have done it. Grant gave a cold laugh and did not deny it. Why? I asked. He was silent. I placed the moonstone necklace on the table. The blue-white stone did not glow under the blood moon. It looked like a closed eye. You want it? I said. Then answer me. Why did you allow them to torture Leah? Grant looked at the moonstone.
Because she kept you.
Greed flashed in his eyes, then was covered by hatred. Low gasps sounded through the auditorium. At last, he stopped pretending to be a loving father.
You disgusted me from the time you were little. At 6, you saw through the council's account books. At 9, you suppressed a riot by adult wolves. At 12, you built your own guard network. Everyone said Blackthorn had a genius heir, but that heir was not me. It was my daughter.
I looked at him. So
you made me look like a joke!
He slammed the table.
If you had been a son, I would have handed all of Blackthorn to you. But you had to be my daughter. And you looked at me that way.
As if I would never be clever enough, never be strong enough!
You truly weren't.
Grant's face twisted. I went on. You didn't hate me because I was dangerous. You hated me because I proved how mediocre you were. That sentence struck him. He stared at me, his voice so low it seemed squeezed through his teeth.
Yes, I hate you.
I asked, and Leah? She did nothing.
As long as she lived, you might come back.
Grant said.
Every time she looked in the mirror, every time she stared into space, every time she held that moonstone necklace, I knew you were still there. She reminded me that I had never truly won.
Marina closed her eyes. Ivy did not dare move. After hearing him out, my heart instead became completely calm. It was not relief. It was the blade finally finding where it should fall. Grant suddenly laughed.
But you still lost. The blood moon has already risen, and the secondary ceiling array is beneath the auditorium. As long as the moonstone is here, you will sleep again.
Students screamed, elders rose, and Nora immediately drew a gun and fired at the control panel. But she was 1 second too late. Silver light coiled toward me from every direction. Grant revealed a real smile.
Vera, however clever you are still only my daughter.
I lowered my head and watched the silver pattern crawl up my wrists. It hurt. It hurt badly. But I smiled too. Father, did you forget? The first sealing succeeded because I was willing. Grant's smile frozen. I lifted my hand, and the moonstone necklace suddenly flew from the table into my palm. He had not awakened the array. I had. I had changed the secondary sealing array into a public judgment array. Every word Grant had just said had already been transmitted to the Werewolf Council, 13 allied packs across North America, and the private terminals of every Blackthorn member. The moonstone finally lit up. Blue-white light pierced through the blood moon. I stood and watched the color drain inch by inch from Grant's face. You are useless now. The moment the moonstone acknowledged me, every Blackthorn werewolf in the auditorium heard the summons. It was not a sound. It was blood instinct. Marcus was the first to drop to one knee, his right hand pressed over his heart.
The Black Moon Guard returns to the air.
Then came the second, and the third. All 47 old guards lowered their heads. Outside the auditorium, wolf howls came from the direction of the training field. One after another, they shook all of Silverwill Academy awake. Grant roared,
Do not kneel! I am your alpha!
No one answered him. A representative of the Werewolf Council stood and announced on the spot.
Grant Blackwood is suspected of murdering an heir, illegally using a sealing array, and forging guardianship authority. His alpha powers are hereby suspended effective immediately, and he will be placed under council custody.
Marina screamed.
You can't do this to us! I am Luna!
I looked at her. Not anymore. Ivy suddenly rushed toward the exit. She probably thought she still had a chance to flee in the chaos. Tessa blocked the doorway. The girl who had held me down in the pool only hours ago now looked at Ivy with nothing but the hatred of someone who had been used. Ivy shouted,
Tessa, help me!
Tessa did not move.
You said I would join your private guard. You said that once Leah fell, I could leave the low-rank dorm.
Ivy panicked.
I can compensate you the way you compensated Leah.
Tessa raised her hand and shoved Ivy back into the auditorium. Ivy fell to the floor. Every camera pointed at her. Caden finally stood.
Vera, Northridge is willing to testify. Please give us a chance to make amends.
I looked at him and suddenly found it ridiculous. They always learned to make amends only after the tide changed.
The chance was never mine to give. Leah gave it to you, and you did not take it.
The council members escorted Grant and Marina away. Grant struggled and looked at me.
Vera! I am your father!
The council members escorted at Grant and Marina away. Grant struggled and looked at me.
You are not. You are only the first person who appeared in Leah's nightmares.
His face turned deathly pale as he was dragged out of the auditorium. When Marina passed beside me, she suddenly whispered,
Do you think Leah will thank you when she comes back? She is so kind. She will hate you for destroying this family. This family was built on her bones long before I touched it.
Ivy was left where she was. She lifted her head and looked at me, all sweetness gone.
Will you kill me?
No, she seemed to breathe in relief. I bent down and removed the last brooch that belonged to Leah from her neck. Death would be too quick. You will live and watch everyone learn that you were never the favored daughter, only a thief who stole someone else's life. Ivy broke down sobbing. I did not look at her again. Everyone thought I had won. Only I knew that the one person who truly should have heard all this had not answered me from beginning to end. Leah, I called her in my heart. Still, there was only silence. The temporary dorm behind the old gym was still lit. It was the last place Leah had lived. I returned there and carefully arranged her notebook, her old sweater, and the cracked phone. One by one, Nora stood in the doorway.
Vera, the hearing isn't over. You are Blackthorn's interim alpha now.
I said, give me 1 minute. Nora saw the lighter in my hand, and her expression changed.
Vera,
I said,
I only want to burn this place down. Leah should not have to keep memories like this.
When the flame fell onto the old bedsheet, it caught quickly. I stood before the firelight and did not step back. If Leah was truly gone, then the world I had won back meant nothing. The instant the flames lunged toward me, this body suddenly moved on its own. My right hand grabbed the doorframe hard and dragged me away from the fire. From deep within my heart came a voice so faint it was almost inaudible. Sister. I froze. That voice was trembling, yet it was still trying to hold on to me. Don't die for me again. I stood between firelight and cold wind, afraid to move for the first time. Leah? The voice in my heart was very soft. I closed my eyes. Before a smile could rise, tears fell first. You finally agreed to speak. Leah sounded as if she had just woken from the bottom of very deep water, her voice breaking in fragments. I was always here. It was just too cold, too tiring. I heard you calling me, but I couldn't wake up. I pressed a hand to my chest.
Why didn't you tell me? Why did you drive my people away? Why did you endure everything alone?
Because Zoe died, she said. I was afraid the next would be Nora, Marcus, and everyone you left to protect me. My fury burned up again, but it could not burn toward her. She continued. I knew you didn't leave by choice. I found a fragment of the sealing record. I thought it was because I was too weak that they got a chance to hurt you. Idiot. She admitted it softly. But I still wanted to preserve the people you could use when you came back. I hid it under the old wolf statue on the training field. The one Ivy wanted was fake. I froze, then could not help laughing out loud. The fire alarm rang, and Nora rushed in with people to put out the fire. Outside was chaos, but I leaned against the door hole, laughed until I could not stop.
You're still laughing?
Nora was so anxious she cursed at me. I said, she fooled everyone. Leah? Nora froze. Nora's eyes instantly redded. I nodded, but she forced herself not to cry. Welcome back. Thank you. After the fire was put out, I returned to the auditorium. Everyone was still waiting for me. Grant and Marina had already been escorted to the council's temporary holding site. Ivy had been stripped of Blackhorn's surname protection and sent to a public hearing. Caden and Northridge would have to publish apology statements on the school-wide channel for 7 consecutive days, and hand over all benefit pledges Leisha had signed when she helped Northridge back then. The council representative asked me,
Vera Blackwood, do you accept interim alpha authority?
I was about to speak when Leah suddenly said, Sister, I want to say it. I stepped back and handed the body over to her. The next second, everyone saw my eyes soften. Leah looked across the hall full of wolves. Her voice was still weak, but she did not hide. I accept, but not as interim. The auditorium went quiet. Leah held the moonstone necklace and continued. From this day on, the Blackthorn Pack will no longer be ruled by fear. All old orders issued by Grant and Marina are abolished. Those they expelled may return home. Those they harmed will receive compensation, apologies, and a record in Pack history.
Leah, I truly...
Caden lifted his head to look at her.
Caden, don't say my name again.
Leah cut him off. His face went white. Leah said,
I once liked you, and I once begged you. Back then, you did not turn around. Now, neither will I.
She paused, her voice soft but ruthless. I dissolved the mate bond not because you chose Ivy, but because you are not worthy of being chosen by me. Dead silence filled the room. I laughed in my heart. Well said, Leah whispered back.
My hands are shaking.
It's all right, I said. Winning while shaking still counts as winning. The council representative asked again.
Then the new alpha of the Blackthorn pack is Leah Blackwood?
I took back the body, raised my eyes, and looked at him. And Vera. Murmurs rose again through the auditorium. I held the moonstone, and Leah held me in her heart. The moonstone's light split in two, then merged back together. The council representative stared for a long time before finally lowering his head.
The new alphas recognizes the dual souls as co-ruler pack. Vera Blackwood and Leah Blackwood.
Marcus bowed his head first. Nora followed. Then came the old Black Moon Guard, the Silver Lake students, and the Blackthorn representatives. In the end, even the North Ridge people had no choice but to lower their heads. The blood moon fell across the auditorium glass like a belated coronation. Leah asked me in her heart, Sister, did we win? I looked at the empty seat in the front row, where the person who betrayed her had once sat. No, I said. We have only begun taking back what belongs to you. She laughed softly. It was faint, yet bright enough to burn through my chest. I lifted my head and said to everyone bowing before us, From tonight on, Blackthorn has only one rule. No one dared make a sound. I said each word clearly. Anyone who dares make Leah shed a single tear again will regret ever being born under a full moon. Outside the auditorium, the wolves howled together. This time it was not judgment. It was submission.